What's up? Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is my FM20 journeyman while I start at the bottom of tier 12 and work my way up to the Prem. The first thing I needed to do was create the club, so I decided to watch some great FM videos. I recommend Golden FM if you want to create your own club, but it gave me a starting point and a to-do list. Number one was create the club in the editor and get all the information down. 2 is create the logo, and then 3, start playing the game. In editor, it's actually pretty easy to create a club. You just have to go to database and then club and then add. I put our club, the Old Boys FC, in the Dorset Senior League in tier 12 of English football. We're based out of Winton in Dorset. The club has a 200 reputation, which is around the same of everyone else in the league. The stadium holds around 1,000 people with no seating. Training and facilities and everything are all on one, apart from youth importance and youth recruitment, which are on 20. Then it was time for the logo. And after hours and hours of searching for the graphics on Google, and many more poured into Photoshop, it was ready. Well, there it is. Yeah. Anyway, let's get into it. First division with the new team, starting in the Dorset Senior League Division 12 and working our way up all the way to the Prem. I've actually never started this low down before, so I'm excited to see the challenges and the problems that come with low league management. I think the first thing I'm going to try and do is find an assistant manager to come up with us all the way up the leagues. And there's the team buying goal. Smith up front. Hopefully they can get some goals and save some goals for us. I like the squad also having a very loyal personality trait. I think that bodes well for the series and bodes well for the team. Then we get on to the club vision and finishing in the top 3 places. I agree with that. I think we actually should be winning the league with the youth recruitment and youth importance that we place on the club and the new transfers that we'll be bringing in. Now it's time to get down to tactics, and I think this season I'm going to run a 4-2-3-1 just because I think we're going to be good in the league and I want to control possession, try and not give other teams opportunities to score, just kind of play a lockdown team. Not really a gegenpress though, just keep the ball, play it around them and see if they can do anything. The second and third tactic I went for. Second I went for tiki-taka just to mix it up from the control possession, see if when we play someone, maybe they figured out the control possession, so maybe we pass it around them, do a little bit quicker passes maybe, and then the gegenpress for when we come up against better teams, we can be on them a lot quicker, we could be down their throats and hopefully cut off any chance of them winning and maybe sneak a goal or 2. I think with the tactics we've chosen this season, we're going to be more focused on possession-based football rather than route one, kick it up to the striker and hope he scores. I think actually, because we'll be good, we'll be able to create opportunities and pass it around the team and give our strikers good opportunities to score. Next was finding the man that would join us on this journey all the way up the leagues, our assistant manager. So I went to search and I wanted to have a manager that had at least 10 on the attributes that it recommends. And I saw that there were still managers, so I kept going up and up and up. And I didn't really realize that these were all managers that weren't appropriate until I tried to give a contract to good old Pete. And Pete was like, no, I'm not coming to your shitty club. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Fair enough. So then I had to do a little tinkering and lower some stats down to a level that was around ours, which was about 6 or 7. And then I thought I found the guy, Roberto, but Roberto also was like, hell no. So I lowered it once again, and I found the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Des Adams, who we offered a contract. We're giving him, I don't think, any money a week on an amateur contract, but he was delighted to come to the club, and we finally have our man. Now it's time to look at the team, and the team's a lot younger than I thought it was going to be. There's a lot of 15 and 16-year-olds in it, and hopefully they can come through and grow to their potential and help this team out in the future. But right now, we're definitely going to have to play a lot of the youngsters and hope the older guys can be mentors for them. And hopefully we don't get beaten by experience and this team can actually hold their own against some of the older guys in the league. And what sucks for now, at least anyway, is that because we don't have an assistant manager on the books yet, we can't actually see the coach reports, so we can't actually know how good these players are. And I'm not very good at looking at the stats and knowing, so I think I'm going to wait on that until we get our assistant manager. Now that we've seen the squad a little bit, I think it's time for me to introduce myself to the squad and say hello. And wow, James Boylan doesn't really like me. I hope this doesn't go all season long, but then I said that we should be going up as champions, and I think everyone here would agree. I wanted to then look at the three most influential players in the team, Nathan Powell, Daniel Lake, and Glenn Hearn, just to get to know some of the leaders in the dressing room and what positions they were. So Glenn Hearn is a centre-back and Daniel Lake's a right-back, so we already have a back line that's full of leadership already, and hopefully we can carry that throughout the season, and they can kind of be the leaders of the team with two young goalies behind them. And then wanted to get my coaching course done and ready, so I applied for that, and the board said yes, so I'm now studying for my first license, so hopefully I can improve a little bit. As I go through the save, I want to be improving too. I don't want the team to leave me behind, and I really don't want to get fired, so I think I'm going to be asking for coaching courses periodically, and hopefully the board will say yes. I think it's going to get to a point where we start losing money, so we're going to have to keep a lot of the money and hopefully raise a lot of money so that I can actually get coaching courses done. And so that when I go to the board, they don't say, oh, because of the present financial situation, we can't train you right now. And because in general, I want to stay as in the green as possible for as long as possible. The media questions weren't that interesting, just, are you excited for the job? And do you think you're qualified being a young manager? But it did point out two big players for the squad, James Boylan in goal and Glenn Hearn, who we've already talked about 2 or 3 times during the video already. I think that shows how valuable those two players are going to be this season if we don't sign someone else. Then it was time for our first friendly game, so I decided to kind of pick the team at random, but kind of go for the players I thought were best. So in goal we went for Boylan, back line of Lake, Hearn, Oakes and Brown, centre midfield of Blumenthal and Anir with Mackenzie in front of them, Small and Hakizamana on the left and right with Graydon up front, kind of giving the older players a chance to earn their place and maybe some of the young uns to try and prove they're good enough for the team. Then because I didn't have an assistant manager, I had to do the under-23s too, so that consisted of me just doing the same formation as the first team, but I tried to quick pick, but because I didn't have an assistant manager, none of the players would go in. So it ended up just being me chucking players in and hopefully playing them in their right position. And maybe some of the players that do have, who are actually real, can have an opportunity to try and get into the first team, but this team was kind of a mixed match of what we had available to us. I didn't really know what to expect, but I just didn't want to get embarrassed at home to our under-23s. I just wanted for the boys to put up a good showing, encourage them off the start, passionate, show me why you deserve to be in this team, show me why it shouldn't be one of the youngsters replacing you. And then I did the same thing for the under-23s, trying to give them an opportunity to get into the first team, show me why you deserve a place in the first team. And then it was time for kickoff. I normally run my settings on key highlights, so the game moves pretty fast. I also have it on fastest and match speed on slightly faster. This was actually our first big opportunity of the game. A nice throw in and then pass around the back by Anir to Brown, who passed it back into Blumenthal, passed it back to Owens, who had a through ball to Graydon, and Graydon shot on goal, saved. And then it was time for the corner, and it was beautifully crossed in by Mackenzie, and there it is, Frank Hakizamana with the first goal of the series. I think Frank's going to be a good addition to the team. He's young, he's on the left wing, and he's fast, so hopefully he can grab a few goals this season. I also like the first goal coming from a set piece. It kind of gives us some confidence for the season that maybe off a set piece we can score a goal. So maybe we take some more shots on goal, try and get some corners, and try and get the heads on the corner. Then it was time for the team talk at halftime. Just more support for the boys. Just try and go out there, do exactly what they've already done, and hopefully come out with a result. But I wanted to make some changes first because I wanted to see the whole team. I didn't want to just see the players that we had on keep playing. So put on Locke, took off Lake. We switched up the strikers, took off Mackenzie, who had the nice assist, take off Small. Greg Bly coming on, the young 15-year-old goalkeeper. And then we wanted to do the same for the under-23s because I want to also see what their players are like, see if maybe one or two of them can earn their place in the first team. For me, these changes were just to see which young players deserve to be maybe starting. Maybe some of the young players in the under-23s deserve a place in the first team, deserve to be promoted. So that's why in this change for the under-23s, I put in Higginson. I wanted to see what he was like. The first striker didn't really impress me that much, and he didn't really do anything. So maybe Higginson can be the catalyst for the under-23s and maybe get some things going for them. And the changes seem to work for the under-23s because as soon as those changes were made, a free kick is whipped in. And guess who's there to put it in? The new man on the field, Higginson. Kind of a weird goal, kind of bounces off the goalie and kind of goes across the touchline, and then Higginson puts it in, but hey, he put it in, and maybe he's a starlet to watch for the future. Now I'm thinking to myself, though, oh my god, we're at home, we're playing the under-23s, and it's 1-1 in the 55th minute. What's going to happen to the team? Are we actually going to play well this season? Are we actually going to finish in the top 3? But then, the man himself, Steve Bell, rises above all the other defenders and puts in a lovely header. Throw in to Chappell, to Shields, who puts the ball up, and then Bell climbs over the under-23s to put in another header. So that's 2 headers now from our team. Maybe we need to float crosses. Maybe that's a tactical thing I look into the future because the team is looking very good from headers. And when I say we're looking deadly from headers, I mean the crosses we're putting in from the wings are looking very deadly. And here's a cross from Brown into Chappell, who gets saved by French, but French launches the ball downfield to Higginson, but the ball is cleaned up by the defense, who puts the ball back forward, where Shields picks it up. Shields puts it back out to Bell with the cross in, and Gary Smith, the youngster, does a lovely volley into the back of the net. I like the build-up to that play. We had one header saved and we built up from the back. We did the same play kind of twice, but this time Gary Smith kicking it instead of going for the header. And it whizzes past French, who has no option but just to watch it fly by him into the back of the net. So that's how the game ends, a 3-1 win. At home against the under-23s, kind of expected, but we were pretty great with crosses and headers, and the set-piece goal was great, so I'm excited to see how the boys do in the league. So that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Leave any comments if you have any tips or tricks for me. Hopefully I can get better at the game and you guys can join me on this journey all the way up to the Prem. Alright, peace.